Thank you very much. Welcome back. It was sort of fun out there. You people here back up about 10 feet. For those of you who remember Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs from the 60s, Surf City and Sunbury, you're going to recognize his distinct sound. It certainly is big. And he certainly has gone through some changes in a career that has spanned 25 years and had taken him through the highs and the lows and the limbos and the successes that are indigenous to the music world. Thorpe's a hit again, this time in the U.S. A big hit, too. He's back for a tour and a visit, and he's still looking great. As a matter of fact, I think he looks better than he's ever looked. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Thorpe. Look out. Back up.
With a spoon in my mouth, we were so damn poor, we were down and out. No shoes for my dancing feet, but I still kept time with the pump in the street. Well. Run down neighborhood. When times were bad, we made them good. Education didn't get me too far, so I learned my licks in an all-night bar. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. Not so hot, she's like it's cool. You in a jack or it'll treat you cruel. Sleazy, even slime. Call it what you want, but it's mine. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. With no spoon in my mouth, we were so damn poor, we were down and out. Had no shoes for my dancing feet, but I still kept time with the pop in the screen. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it.
Thank you very much, Terry.
That's a present for you, Don.
Huh?
A present for you.
I'm sorry.
The last time we had Ian's Cleed was like, must be 6 years ago we did this.
This is the
7
one?
years ago, yeah.
This is it, huh? That's it. That's the new Billy Thorpe album. You have some hassles getting down here, they tell me.
Well, all our, if anybody sees a semi-trailer somewhere between Goulburn and Melbourne with amps and guitars stuck in the front of it, belongs to us. Somebody wiped our truck off with most of our equipment, and we just
Stole it, really? Where did that...
They wiped it out. Semi-trailer hit it and wrote it off, yeah.
You have no idea where? I mean, you're saying between those spots, but I mean, do you know...
I wasn't in the car at the time. We had a road
yeah.
manager driving our gear down here. I got a call at 7 this morning and said, listen, your equipment's been wiped out, you know, so we just got here.
I'm just looking at you and I realized that we took a look at that film to see the changes. My God, there have been some changes with you. But there was one that wasn't on there. There was one that wasn't on there, and I didn't know this until today. Now, I've known you since I first walked into this country. Was it 1964?
64, 65.
Yeah, it would be, because I want to talk to you in a minute about that era, but you were, where did Little Rock Allen come from?
Well, I started in Brisbane when television first started in Australia. I think in Brisbane it was like 1960 or something, 1961. And it was I was 10 years old or 11 years old, and they had child protection societies in those days. And I used to work like local hotels, and they used to throw money on the stage, and I would collect it and split it with the compere, and that's how I started, you know. So
how old were you here?
I was like 11 or something like that. So to get, I had to change my name every time I appeared, you know. So this name, Little Rock Allen, came out, and I became known in Brisbane for a while as Little Rock Allen. Then it was like rock and roll Sid and Herbie the Rocker, you know.
And then, of course, there was Surf City. Now, I caught the tail end of Surf City. People in Melbourne may not remember, but there was a place in the Cross called Surf City.
Where the Crest Hotel is now. Yeah.
That's right. And all of the rock bands were in there. I mean, the ones from overseas, the ones from here, everybody played in that place.
Well, it was sort of, it was a surf place when I first went to Sydney. When I left home, I was like 16. And I was staying behind it, and I walked into the place, and there were 3 guys playing, and that's how the Aztecs came about, as the Aztecs that made the records. It was a big place. We were putting like 10 to 15,000 people through there on a Friday and Saturday night, and in terms of Australia, it was very significant, and the Beach Boys played there, all kinds of overseas bands played there.
I remember, I was really surprised when I went to see, just to see the posters that were up of the people who had been there on the outside of the joint, you know, and all that. Oh, here, we're having a look at you from
Oh, my God, look at this.
Oh, well, they were screaming and they loved you too, right? There you go. When was the last time you wore a suit like that, kid?
A long time.
Yes, it would be too.
Look at that.
Tell me about the groupies. You were always running into some trouble in some town. Every time we'd pick up a paper, there were groupies following you.
Well, it was that kind of era, you know. It was sort of, it was like the start of the Beatle era and the English scene and the Australian scene. We were like this. This is incredible.
Yes, look at this.
Hey! That was like, it was a whole new thing in music in this country. It was the O'Keefe and Cole Jury era had been gone about 4 or 5 years. And we were young kids, and the whole thing just hit. It was huge, and I left home, having been known in Queensland, but we made a record, and all of a sudden it was, I mean, we couldn't go on the streets. We went to hotels, and there were kids and girls under the bed, and we went to Perth. There was like 10,000 kids at the airport.
You mean you go home to your room and they beat under the bed?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was great at 17.
Not bad, but I heard you got thrown out of a couple of small towns, too. One with the mayor's daughter or something.
Well, I wasn't personally responsible for that. I just happened to be in the band. It was, well, it was like we lived our adolescence on the front page of newspapers, you know, so it was, we didn't do anything really any different to anybody else at that age, except when we did it, everybody knew about it, and people were aware of us. It was in Dubbo's, the town you're talking about. We got run out of there at gunpoint, you know. Get out of your rooms, get your bags, goodbye, never come back, you know.
Did you ever see that girl again?
No.
No. All right.
She was the mayor's daughter, as a matter of fact.
The mayor's daughter. Wonderful. And Sunbury, of course, a big turnaround. Did you expect the success out of Sunbury that came from it? I mean, the whole thing became yours and Johnny O'Keefe's night, I think.
Well, it was kind of a pinnacle in Australian music. It was the first time that all or major acts in Australia had come together and played over a 3-day period.
It was on the heels of Woodstock, of course.
No, it was 72. It was quite a while later. It was just a very significant night. I think a lot of bands peaked at that. I had a very successful live album out of that. It was like the launching of a new band for me. It was a very significant time in Australian music.
Well, it certainly was something that everybody talked about then and still talks about now. There's never been another one like that. They try to repeat it with Rosebud. You had a little problem getting on the stage at Rosebud, didn't you?
Yeah, 3XY in Melbourne, well, here, did a thing at Rosebud, expected like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and like 50,000 people turned up, and we got a ride in on the back of, not the Hells Angels, it was a bike club, and we were sitting in the queue and in a line waiting to get in like 5 miles from the site, and these guys pulled up and...
The Iron Horseman.
Ah, right. And these guys were greasers. They were serious bikers, you know. And so we rode in. They took us across the golf course at about 80 miles an hour with our guitars on the back, and went through a fence and crashed up to the stage. And they said, "Hey, they've arrived," you know. That was great. It was the best thing I've ever had at a festival.
The cash box thing now, that must be the highlight of your whole career, I suppose.
It's been hard. It was hard initially. In fact, I have a photo that's taken of my fridge with an onion and a can of Coke in it. You know, it was like New Year's Eve, I think, '78. And it got to a point, I had my family there, and I have 2 daughters. Yeah. And I was starting to think, well, maybe it was the wrong thing to do. And about 6 or 7 days later, I signed my first record deal, and it just, away it went. You know, it's 3 albums later, and things have been going great for me in America.
Fantastic. It sounds like it, mate, from all we've seen and all we've witnessed. And,
yeah. It's
nice to have you back. Tenalorn, what is that?
Well, the Tenalorn Festival, I think, is the first major festival since Sunbury, and that's my main reason for coming back. I think it's going to be a very significant event. I think an event like this doesn't happen really anywhere in the world that I know of. Festivals are kind of outlawed in America, and I think the opportunity to come and be a part of something where there's going to be maybe 40,000, 50,000 people for a weekend or 3 days, and music's just a part of it. I think the whole festival, the whole ambience of what's going down there is very important, and I think if anybody can get there, they should go.
You know what I think? I think it's going to... No, I won't be here, mate. I think it's going to be one of your greatest times ever. I really believe that.
So.
I think so. I think it's going to be very memorable. You come back now, you're the conquering hero. It's really terrific. And
thank you.
He's also going to go on a national tour on the 18th of November, okay? Well, you've seen the stages, and the man's back. And like I said, a big success. Thank Billy Thorpe for coming in.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Good stuff. We'll be back. Peter Long has a song. We got the wheel. Plenty of fun left, I'll tell you. Hang in there. We'll be back.